Extinguisher shot. Oh, coolant leaks. Fuck, just drained all that coolant out. I know a lot of you were worried about what happened on the trip when we went to the hills, but we're going to explain what happened and why it did happen and try to fix it in today's video. So as you guys saw in the previous video, this car spilled coolant everywhere when we drove it hard in the hills. I was topping 7 grand most of the drive, and that's simply because I was getting used to the car and I didn't know the roads, so I should have kept it in third and not gone into second a lot. But we did have a big issue where coolant spat out everywhere, and it would have been terrible if the temperatures weren't good. We would have had to trailer the car home, but luckily temps were good on the way back, so we were able to get this thing home. But it was a close call, a definite close call. So as you guys know, the engine came out of a 1996 Toyota Camry that had been pretty neglected over the years. So the owner obviously didn't change the coolant much. So what happened was the filler neck cap where you fill the coolant was completely destroyed. The plastic bits on it were just all messed up and pretty much weren't in good order. So I went and I replaced the radiator cap from the original MR2 engine, which came off this. Now the issue of doing that was we found out that this rating here isn't the same rating on this engine. This only holds 0.9 bars of pressure, bar of pressure, whatever you want to call it. But the original OEM spec on this motor is 1.1 bar. So yeah, so I replaced the filler neck cap on this engine from the original MR2 engine, like I said. And what happened was when the coolant expands in the engine, it's not supposed to go anywhere, it's supposed to stay in the engine. And because this wasn't rated to the right rating, what happened was the coolant bypassed the radiator cap and went straight into the overflow. And that's why we were seeing coolant coming out of the overflow and coming from this side and dropping all the way down, all on the left side. So it's as simple as changing this water filler neck cap and getting a higher rating, 1.1 bar 1 or 1.3. So yeah, all we need to do is change this cap out, get a new one, because you can see that the number there is 0.9 when it should be 1.1. We've ordered a HKS high pressure cap, so hopefully that'll fix all the issues. But until then, we're not really going to drive the car. I'm going to fill it up back with some coolant and we should be good. Thanks to Paul, he's told me exactly what was wrong with it. It's crazy because Paul actually watches all the videos and goes through everything, any mistake, and he tells me what's wrong with it. So he doesn't let anything get past him. And if you want some help doing a V6 swap, definitely message Paul Woods at woodsport.org. That reminds me, we need to get some stickers on this bad boy. My favorite part. Hell yeah. Damn, even some good quality stickers. My official sponsor. Hell yeah. We've even got the cheapest MR2 in the country. What are you doing today, fam?
I am putting on an eBay short shifter.
Oh, nice.
Rather, editing an eBay short shifter.
There's a lot of work that needs to be done to this car, and you're going to see it all in my channel. Sneak peek, but Lachlan is actually going up to get an MR2 parts car from Sydney soon.
I am.
Tomorrow, yeah?
Michael the Plug.
Michael the Plug hooking us up with another MR2. So Lachlan will have 2 MR2s, one a parts car and one a kind of MR2. I don't know. What do you even call this, fam? So while Lachlan's mucking around with the cheapest MR2 in the country, I'm going to go ahead and try fix up my suspension and dial it in a little bit better, because what happened was when I was in the hills is that as I was cornering, I found that the rear end wasn't following through with me turning. So as I would turn around corners, I would be going hard and the front end would move around fast, but I could feel the back end be a little bit boaty. And that's because I think that's because I set the sway bar in the back a little bit less stiff than I originally had it. And I did this because in the street, as I would go around corners, what would happen is it'd be really stupid stiff. So the car would kind of like hop. And I think that was just because of, I don't know, my coilovers or something. I don't know. But I need to put it back on the stiffest setting on the sway bar. So I'm going to take the wheel off, change the setting on that, get it perfect. You know, I could also just adjust the dampening of my coilovers, but what I think would happen there is if I had them more stiff, then there's a chance of it being pretty unpredictable if it come off the ground, if the wheel comes off the ground. So I could adjust the coilovers, and I might do that as well. I'm not 100% sure, but I might try play around with the dampening, or I might try do the sway bar. We'll see how I feel. Also, I need to adjust the ride height on all 4 corners because they're all a little bit off since when we had the engine out of the car and stuff. The rear is definitely a lot lower because of the extra weight of the V6. I mean, the fitment wise, it's good. I might just keep the rear like it is, but the front is just like, this lip just doesn't work well with being so low. You can see that because it's so low, it scrapes everywhere. There is scrapes all underneath my freshly painted lip, which is not too bad. You can't really see it unless like you're on the angle that I'm on now, but it's just pretty annoying. You can also hear this like, an audible clunk somewhere in the front, so we need to sort that out as well. We also need to start measuring now to see the differences between all the different heights around the car. I'm going to be measuring from the ground up into this guard, and we're going to try get an even ride height across all the wheels. I've done this a million times, it's so tedious. He wasn't on the road this time. Having fun, dude?
Not at all.
Okay, so we have some interesting news. I went ahead and measured all corners, and it looks like they're all within millimeters of each other, so I might not actually change it. I mean, the front ride height, like I said, I was complaining about how the lip was scraping everywhere, but it looks so good as is. I really don't think a centimeter difference is going to make much difference in the lip scraping much, so we might just keep it as is because the fitment just looks so good, and on the rear as well. Like, I could raise it a bit, but I mean, far out, we may as well just keep it. The only issue is that the exhaust is like the lowest point of my car now, and you can see that we scraped this baby quite hard on the drive. Apparently, there were sparks coming out the back when Lachlan saw me bottom out. Ain't that right?
Yeah, it was a bit like a party with all the sparklers.
So we saw sparks coming out. We're getting a new exhaust anyway because it's too loud. Gave me a headache. Stock ride height. Coilover ride height. Ooh, we're keeping this. We're just gonna keep it. Well guys, I think we found the problem. This thing's spinning, which is not good. We need to tighten this down with the Allen key. That's the thing that holds the sway bar in, so I think that's the issue. So I tightened that bolt up and everything's good to go. I didn't feel any play in the sway bar link, so we should be good. Hopefully there's no more clunks. Hopefully I don't have to jack this car up again, because it's such an effort. Unlike this stilts risen.
Stilts? This is even harder to jack up than your car.
How?
I can't jack it up from the sides, because my sides get covered.
Alright guys, moment of truth. Let's see if that clunk is still there. Fuck. I can definitely still hear it. What I think now, it could be something to do with the steering rack somewhere down the line. So I'm gonna go and suss the steering rack out. Gonna put this up and have a look. But if you guys know where this could be coming from, let me know in the comments down below because I am stuck right now. Okay, I think I found where the sound's coming from. That doesn't look good. Wiggle it again, Lachlan. Dude, that does not look right. Stop. Okay, let's go check if yours is like that. I'm so glad we have another MR2.
Can you just tighten it up?
I don't know. I'll give it a go, but we'll see. Let's check yours out. Alright, it's so good that we have another MR2 that we can just take apart because we need to see what's wrong with mine. Look at Lachlan, he has ABS. What a lucky boy. Oh, look at that premium steering rack. Dude, yours does not wobble like mine does.
Does it?
Nah. Fuck, I'll do it for you. Hang on. Is it moving the same? Or not really?
No.
Oh shit, mine's loose. That's dangerous. Okay, so I've just come to the conclusion that I can't fix this myself. I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know if I need to get a whole new bit connecting the steering rack to the column over here. So we're just gonna leave it for now. I'm gonna leave the car like this and probably not drive it because that's pretty bad. We have a pretty bad issue. So it's now the next day. I'm trying to keep consistent as possible, updating you guys on what's actually happening with the MR2. Now with the steering rack, I don't know what I have to do to fix that. So I need all of you guys to help me there because that is beyond my knowledge. Probably not too much happened in this video, but I guess you guys got an understanding of where I am at with this car. But I really want to fix the exhaust because it's just stupid loud. I've been complaining about that a lot, but it's just bad. We're still waiting on that high pressure cap, so we need to wait for that to come in before we can actually properly drive this car again. Otherwise, we're just gonna have the same problem. I actually checked the cap the other day, and the coolant is definitely low inside there. You can't see coolant at the top, which is pretty bad. That means there's a lot of air in the system, and that does mean that it can overheat. So we've got to make sure that we don't drive this car until we get that cap and bleed the system again, which is a pain in the ass. You know, that's what you get for doing an engine swap. Anyway, as a side note, I am selling this old 3SGE engine. If anyone wants to buy it, it came out of this car, obviously. It's a 1997 Bathurst 3SGE, so it's the last revision besides the Beams engine. So just a FYI. We also have some other stuff over here for sale. I've got the original shifter trims, so if you guys want to purchase that, just message me on Instagram. I'm actually going to sell this transmission as well because I'm not going to find a use for it. It's an E53, not an E153, so if you guys want to buy this transmission, let me know. But other than that, we have still a lot to go with this car. I still need to do a lot of things that I'm going to do probably behind the scenes because there's just so much stuff that's just a little bit tedious. Like I got to mount some brackets on where the igniter is. It's just down there. It's mounted with these cheap Bunnings bracket kind of things you can see there, but it's resting. This is resting on top of the coil lead or whatever. So it's not good. Not the coil lead, the spark plug lead. I also do want to get AC working, and I want to paint this intake plenum because it looks pretty bad right now. I mean, the rest of the car's painted and it's all red, but that is just like old and yucky, so we're going to paint that eventually too. It's actually quite easy to get this thing off, even though it's in the MR2, because you have plenty of room. Look at that, heaps of room here, heaps of room there. Easy to work on. Who said a mid-engine car is hard to work on? Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, subscribing, whatever you guys do. I really appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next one. Catch ya.